Hello and welcome back to Retired Happy. This is your Retired Happy friend Carolyn from Mississippi. And if this is the first time you've joined my channel, welcome. I'm so glad you're here and you found us. This is where we go on our retirement journey and we talk about things that give us joy, give us happiness, give us peace, give us a sense of fulfillment and purpose in life at this time we've looked forward to all our working years. So we do a lot of cooking, we do sewing, crocheting, knitting, watercolor painting, and just walks, sharing nature, sharing flowers that are blooming, sharing what's going on in our lives right now, and grocery shopping for the next month. So today in my neighborhood, it is cold. It went from fall to winter overnight. So today our high is about 48 and the wind is blowing and gusting and blustery. So Maisie and I had to wear a coat when we went out on our walk a little bit ago. So we are turning our heaters on now. So today in our kitchen, I'm going to be making Mexican meatloaf, and it is in the Cooking with Maggie cookbook on my Etsy shop at maggiesneighborhood.etsy.com. So this is one of the many recipes out of this cookbook that I have prepared. And to go along with the Mexican meatloaf, I'm going to fix a zucchini squash casserole. And this is going to be similar to the yellow squash casserole that I made last week, but it will have the zucchini. I am putting some sliced potatoes in it. It will have Velveeta cheese and rotel. So that's going to be a really, really good meal. So I'll put the recipes to it in the comments below. And after cooking, I'll show you my little yarn winder. So this is my yarn winder I have to wind. When I get through crocheting or knitting something, I always have a little ball of yarn left over. So this is the little bit of yarn that I had left over from the baby blanket I showed last week. And this is some of the yarn I had from making the fall leaves. So this is the before, and this is the after I put it on my yarn winder and I make a little cake out of it. So I'll show you how I do that. So the thankful for today, there are so many things to be thankful for. And I was getting a glass of water. I always keep a glass of water close to me when I'm about the house and working, just to stay hydrated and be sure I'm drinking enough water. So I was getting ice out of the freezer, and I thought, I am so thankful that I have an ice maker. You remember the days when we had ice trays in the freezer? Now this is after we had an ice box and we had a block of ice delivered to the ice box to keep the ice in. But then we had ice trays, which was a big invention at that time. And we had the metal ice trays with the metal dividers in it. You get the ice tray wet on the bottom and release the ice cubes and then dump it out in your bowl. Fill it with water, put it back in the freezer, make some more ice cubes. Then after that, we had the plastic ice cubes. So we were really getting fancy then. And we would fill the plastic ice trays with water, put it in the freezer, and then you turn it upside down and kind of bend it to release all the ice cubes. Remember that? Well, now I can just go in my freezer and my ice maker's making it and dumping it in my bin. So it's the little things, the little daily things that sometimes we just take for granted, that it's a convenience and we're thankful for it, but we stop to thank God for all of these little conveniences and just be thankful for what we have. So my good word for today, in church, our pastor is in James chapter 1. So last week I shared a verse that was, well, we started at the first chapter of James. Be thankful, count it all joy when we fall into trials. And then last time I said, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. So today I'm moving on down to the next verses. This is verse 22. Be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. If anyone is a hearer of the word but not a doer, he is like a man observing his natural face in a mirror. For he observes himself, goes away, and immediately forgets what kind of man he was. But he who looks into the perfect law of liberty and continues in it is not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work. This one will be blessed in what he does. So let's not just hear what we need to do or be hearers of the word, but also be doers of the word. So when we know we're to help each other is to do something that we should do and we don't do it, then we're hearers, but we're not doers. So that kind of goes back to one reason I got my little portable freezer, my new little freezer, and I have put casseroles in it and a cake, and I'm not bragging on myself. I'm just sharing ideas of one reason I'm doing what I'm doing. And so I have already been able to share 2 casseroles and 2 of the cakes with 2 different people and 2 different needs. So I'm trying to be a doer, not just a hearer. So that's my good word for today. Be doers, not just hearers. I will do the yarn, show you my little yarn winder. And today you'll be hearing this on Thursday. Today is Wednesday. So I thank every single one of you who subscribe, who like, who comment. And if you hit the subscribe button right down there, there's a little bell beside it. And you can click on that bell and it says send me notifications. And that way you'll know on Monday and on Thursday when a new video is out. And I thank every one of you who already show your support and like what we're doing on our retirement journey. So those of you who are just joining, thank you. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I love to read all your comments where you share what you're doing, what's going on in your world. And this will be on Thursday. Now this weekend, I'll be going to, I call it a gala for my granddaughter, and I'll be going to Alabama. So I may not get anything ready for Monday unless you want me to take you along and kind of show you some scenes of what we're seeing, what we're doing, and what the party is like, because it's going to be a big celebration for her. We'll get to see a lot of family members and visit and just have a good time being together. So let me know in the comments if you want no video on Monday or if you'd like to kind of just see what's going on this weekend. So until next time, thank you so much. Share your smile with everyone you meet, because everybody's going through something. And everybody I talk to lately is going through some kind of real trial in their lives. So you may not know it until you take the time to really listen to them and listen to what's going on. But everybody needs some encouragement. Everybody needs some help being lifted up. And just share your smile, share your joy with everyone around you. In today's kitchen, it is the chicken squash casserole, and we're making it with zucchini squash this time. So I'm going to use 2 pounds of zucchini squash. I've washed it. I'm going to cut the stem end off and the blossom end off, slice it very thinly, and this time I'm going to add a few little potatoes. These are little Yukon Gold, the small ones, the mini petite potatoes. I'm going to slice those and put those in, and along with 1 cup of chopped onion. And since this zucchini is a little bit bigger around than the yellow crookneck, I'm going to go ahead and cut each squash slice into 4ths. And that way it won't be such big pieces when it gets in the casserole and gets cooked. So this is 1 squash, I don't have a frying pan, a skillet big enough for all the squash and the potatoes, so I'm putting it in my boiler. And after I get all of the squash, the potatoes, and the onion in, we'll put the lid on it, put it on the burner, and let it start steaming. Put the stem off and the blossom end off. And now I'm just going to slice it thinly. The thinner it is, the quicker it's going to steam, and we want all of the moisture and the liquid to steam out of the squash. Squash has so much liquid in it, so we're not going to add any water to it at all when I put it on the burner to steam it. We're going to let all the moisture that's in there come out. Okay, now it's sliced. We're going to go ahead and cut those slices in half and cut it again into fourths. Now I have the 2 pounds of squash. This is going to be 4 little small Yukon Gold potatoes. If you don't have the petite potatoes, you can use 1 regular size Yukon Gold. 1 cup finely diced onion. We have 2 tablespoons olive oil to go in the pan with the squash and the onions. Put the lid on and let it steam. Tender and soft, and the potatoes cook. Now for the Mexican meatloaf, that's the main dish on our meal today, and it is in the Maggie's cookbook. Now you can make the Mexican meatloaf not Mexican if you just leave the taco seasoning out of it and the rotel. You just use regular tomato sauce instead of rotel. But I am making the Mexican version today, so I will use the taco seasoning and the rotel. So I have 2 pounds of ground meat. So for the meatloaf, I have 2 pounds of ground beef. You can use 1 pound beef, 1 pound turkey if you want to. I have 2 pounds of beef. I have 1 pack of taco seasoning. I'm going to just add the dry taco seasoning to the hamburger meat. 1/2 cup dry crumbs. So I have crackers. I'm using 1/2 cup cracker crumbs. And these are just regular saltine crackers. I like to get the low sodium, low salt. So whichever saltine crackers you have in your kitchen will be fine. And just crush those up finely and add that to your ground beef mixture. So I'm going to add 1 can rotel, and this is the hot rotel. You can use any rotel you happen to have in your pantry. Now we need 2 eggs, and the eggs need to be beaten. So we'll put the eggs in a separate bowl and beat the eggs. And when we get this in, we'll be ready to mix it all up. Okay, now it's time to start mixing our meatloaf. Now all the ingredients are in the bowl, and it takes a pretty large bowl to do this. And the best way to mix your meatloaf is just to use your hands. You can use a spoon, but it's a lot easier just to take your hands, squeeze it, mix all the ingredients together. And I don't want to overmix it. Overmixing your hamburger meat makes it tough. So we're going to mix it just until I get all the crumbs, the eggs, and all the seasoning mixed in together. And I'm going to put mine on a baking sheet. I've lined my baking sheet with aluminum foil. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm making 2 meatloaves with this mixture. So I'm taking one to a neighbor, and I'm keeping one. Okay, that's looking good. So it does not take very long at all to get this all mixed up when you're using your hands. So now I'm going to put one meatloaf on each side. I'm going to shape it into a loaf. So I have one on that side, and I'll have one on this side. The one I'm going to make a little bit bigger. So shape both of your loaves, and in the top of your meatloaf, make two little indentions across the top, and in that little indention, or that little trench, little ditch across the top of it, we're going to put ketchup. And this will bake in an oven, 350 degrees, until it's done and bubbly, which will be approximately an hour. Now I just have regular ketchup. You can also use just tomato sauce if you want to. I have done that, but the easy way, almost everybody has ketchup on hand and in their refrigerator. So just put ketchup right down in that little trench. And the deeper you make your trench, the more ketchup you can put in it. So for your ketchup lovers, you might want to put a good bit. Now this is going in the oven at 350 degrees for 50 to 60 minutes. Now our squash is soft and tender, so I've taken it off the burner and let all the moisture cook out of it. Now I'm going to add 1 pound of Velveeta cheese, and I'm going to cut it up into small pieces so it will go ahead and melt quicker. I'm using the Kroger brand Velveeta, but you can use Velveeta, Kroger brand. If you don't happen to have Velveeta, you can use grated cheddar cheese, will work just fine. So it's going to be the cheesy flavor and the cheesy mix in the squash that's going to make it good. Now this is the garlic seasoning that I have. It's garlic, pepper, and salt. And it does have a pretty good bit of salt in it. So I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of seasoning to it. And I'm going to go ahead and stir the squash and stir the cheese and put the lid on it and let that good Velveeta cheese just sit there and melt. And that won't take but just a few minutes because the squash is already hot. I just took it off the burner. Now the cheese is melted in the squash. I'm going to add 1 can of Rotel tomatoes. And this is an original can, and I get the no salt added. And it has to be well drained. Now we'll mix that up. And that's going to be so pretty in the casserole dish. So I'm getting my casserole dishes ready. I want to oil them and have them ready to bake in the oven at 350 degrees. Now the cheese is melted, and I'm going to start spooning it into the casserole dishes, and I'm going to see how far it will go. This is going to be my giveaway casserole for today, so I'm going to go ahead and spoon it up first, and I'm hoping that I will have enough to have another small giveaway casserole that I have on the side. So I did oil and grease just the side of the pans. I'm going to let the squash cook, and then after it's baked for about 15 minutes, I'm going to add the crushed Ritz cracker top on it. I'm going to go ahead and spoon up my other giveaway casserole first, and then put what's left in my casserole for me. Now the rest of it I'm going to pour in mine and put it in the oven and bake it at 350 degrees until it's bubbly. And then I'm going to add the Ritz cracker crumb topping. In the oven it goes, and this is going to be so pretty when it's taken out, when it's baked. You have the yellow cheese, the green zucchini, and the red Rotel tomatoes. The meatloaf is done, so now I'm going to put 3 pieces of cheese on each loaf, put it back in the oven for about 10 minutes, and let the cheese melt, and then it's time to eat. The casseroles are bubbling, so I have 1 stick melted butter in the bowl, and I'm adding to that 1 stack of Ritz crackers crushed. And this is going to be sprinkled over the top of the zucchini squash potato casserole. And this is what makes it so good. It's this buttery Ritz cracker topping. We'll just stir the butter and the crackers until the crackers are all evenly coated with the butter, and then sprinkle it on top of the casserole. Now each casserole gets a little sprinkling of the Ritz crackers, and this will go back in the oven for about 5 to 10 minutes, just until it gets really crispy, because you can see around the edges the casserole is already brown. It's already basically done. All we need to do now is just toast the Ritz crackers that are on the top. And this is ready to eat, so it's all coming out about the same time. The meatloaf is done and crusty brown, cheese is melted, and the ketchup is on top. The zucchini potato kicking casserole, that's a mouthful, is all done. The Ritz crackers on top are crispy. And these are some little roasted potatoes with the potatoes I didn't put in with the zucchini casserole. I put them in the oven and just roasted them, and those are little roasted Yukon Gold potatoes. So I'm ready to sit down and eat. Maisie's hungry, and I hope you enjoy these recipes. So now we're going to wind this little leftover yarn into a cake. So this is my yarn winder, and I have it attached to the edge of my table. It has a hook that goes under the table, and this screws down to hold it on securely. So now the yarn goes up through this hook, and it goes around right there. It slides through that little guide, and I'm going to put the yarn right through these little top. It has little indentions right there. So I have to hold this carrier out. Now just start rolling, and it's going to roll and wind the yarn. So I did have it all straightened out. So there we go. Okay. So it just winds and takes it, and when we get through, we'll have a nice, neat little yarn cake. And it really does go quick and easy. In fact, it's just a lot of fun when you have a lot of yarn and you can just pull it through the strain, or you have it all already unwound. You can put it in a bowl and just put it in a bowl, and the yarn just comes right out and makes easy work so much easier than winding around your fingers when you get through. And it makes a really pretty cake. It goes quick, 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 and easy, easy, easy. And this also is holding it still. Now, for some reason, on my kitchen table, it's not wanting to. I have it screwed securely and tight, but it's still wanting to slip and slide a little bit. But when I'm holding the yarn guide, I can hold the little winder secure. Okay. So I'm holding this secure and holding it out, otherwise it would go in. So I'm just putting a little bit of pressure on the yarn guide. So I'm putting a little bit of pressure on, holding the yarn guide out, holding it up, and then guiding, holding this secure so it doesn't wobble around. And it doesn't take a lot of pressure because it's just winding. So so there we go. And if I don't hold it, it's going to wiggle around and move. Okay, that is all it took to wind it. Now I'm going to slide the yarn cake off the holder, and it has a hole in the middle. So what I have decided to do, and what I came up with, I take a toilet paper holder and I cut it in half, and then I'm going to fold that into a little ball and put that right there in the middle of the yarn cake to keep it all around in the ball shape. Now you can also, which is a good idea, is put your yarn label in with this, and you can fold up your yarn label and put it right in here. And that way you have your yarn label, you know what the yarn is that you have on there. So after I put my little toilet paper roller in to hold to help hold the yarn, I like to take my scissors and cut a little snip right there, and that way I can take the end of my yarn and run it across and put it right across those little snips, and that keeps it from unwinding. Now this is my yarn label, and this particular yarn, this is what I did the baby blanket with, and it's the I Love This Cotton from Hobby Lobby, and the name of it is Eastern Nova. So I'm going to take the yarn label and roll it up, and I'm going to also put that in the center of my yarn, and when I get ready to use it again, I'll know exactly what the name of that yarn is. So I'm going to stick it right there, and now my yarn is neat. It's in a little yarn cake, and I can store it in my bin with my other yarn pieces. And the name of the little winder is a wool winder, and it does come with instructions. This is the instruction sheet on how to use the wool winder, and it's really very simple, very, very easy. So when I take it down off my table, I loosen the knob that has it secured to the edge of my table, and it just slides right off, and this folds down, this comes off, and I store it back in my box. So quick and easy work of winding my yarn. So there it is back in my box. Put my instructions back in my box, and it's ready to close up and store.